What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today I've got F1 2014 Chinese Grand Prix review. This was the 4th of 19 Grand Prix in the F1 2014 season, and it was probably the worst one so far. It was very boring. The lead was, kind of easily taken by Lewis Hamilton from the start. He got pole position ahead of Ricardo, Vettel and Rosberg completed the top 4. Alonso was up there in 5th on the grid, and then Rosberg got off to an absolute horrible start from 4th. He made contact with one of the Williams. Luckily there was no damage to either of them. I think some of the paint from the tyres compound actually disappeared, and that was about it. So nothing really lost for either of the drivers there apart from a few positions. Rosberg then clawed his way up back through the field, as it was quite easy, as he did have a car that was a second and a half faster than everyone else per lap. Mercedes were dominant, showed really good pace. Rosberg managed to claw his way back up into second place, but could never catch Hamilton, who was just, so far ahead. Doing an absolutely brilliant job on his Mercedes, but of course he has got by far the best car. Mercedes are just dominating. That was another 1-2 for them. Lewis Hamilton then took the victory from Nico Rosberg and Fernando Alonso. An absolute brilliant job from him to get his underperforming Ferrari up into 3rd place, which is brilliant and a great result for the new team principal. In 4th and 5th were the Red Bull pairing of Ricardo and Vettel. In 6th was Nico Hülkenberg. In 7th, Valtteri Bottas. His fellow countryman Kimi Räikkönen was in 8th, and it's Perez and Kvyat nicked the last point yet again. Kvyat doing an absolute brilliant job in that Toro Rosso. He's now level on points with Verne, and that is 3rd points finish of the season already, so definitely that guy has a very bright future in his Red Bull career. In 11th outside the points were Button, Verne, Kevin Magnussen, Maldonado, I think gained the most positions from his starting place. Felipe Massa was in 15th, Esteban Gutierrez 16th, and Kobayashi, Bianchi, Chilton and Ericsson rounded out the finishes. And actually, because at the end there was some confusion with the checkered flag, whereas I think it was waved 2 laps early or a lap early, so they had to count back to 2 laps, and then that only changed one thing. It changed Kobayashi and Bianchi. Kobayashi did a brilliant strategy and managed to get past both Marushas, who probably had a quicker car than him, but he still managed to put down some really good laps, catch them, and he actually passed Bianchi on the final lap, but sadly that wouldn't count, so actually he's moved back into 18th, and Bianchi finishes in 17th. There were 2 retirements today. Both failures were Grosjean and Sutil. Both just struggled with problems. Grosjean had a really good race. He started 10th and would have scored points if he had finished, but sadly he didn't manage to get to the end due to reliability issues. But that's really encouraging for Lotus, but they now know they can score points and actually get into Q3 and be competitive with some of the top guys and definitely get up there in the midfield. Not a good race for Sauber at all. They're definitely the back now. I think probably the pecking order at the back is definitely Sauber, Marussia and Caterham. They're definitely very far back, and not a good race for Sutil or Gutierrez. We look further up the field. Hamilton, Rosberg, both very dominant. Alonso doing a great job. Ricardo and Vettel, they had some more team orders, and then Vettel said tough luck, ignored them, and then kind of yielded. But I think he was kind of locked up. It was kind of half and half thing. After he found out they were on different strategies, then he sort of yielded and let him through. But Ricardo would come out on top and actually finish 20 seconds ahead of Vettel, so he had a pit stop in hand. He could have made a pit stop and then still come out ahead of Vettel. So definitely a very good performance from Ricardo, once again beating Vettel. But of course in the championship, Vettel is still ahead. And on paper, look at the performances, Vettel is still outperforming Ricardo, even though of course we all know that Ricardo at the moment is faster. Vettel not used to the new cars, but I'm sure once he gets up to speed he'll be beating Ricardo. 6th for them was Hülkenberg. Fairly quiet race for him. We didn't really see him much on the TV. He was having a good squabble with Bottas throughout the race, and he managed to come out on top. As I said, Bottas in 7th. Räikkönen having a very poor race down in 8th. Didn't match his teammates at all. He finished 76 seconds off the lead, and I think about 50 seconds off his teammate, so nowhere near. He failed to get into Q3 on the Saturday. On the Sunday, wasn't really much better for him, but still points for Räikkönen, which I suppose is all he wants in what could be now his last season. We'll have to see. In 9th was Perez, fairly average, like Räikkönen, not comparing at all to his teammates, but did make some good improvements considering he started 16th. He did manage to get up to 9th. That's 2 more points to add to his brilliant podium last week in Bahrain. Kvyat, as I mentioned before, rounding out the top 10, and then really struggling signs for McLaren. I think quite a few teams are in trouble. Toro Rosso kind of just average, but still managed to get points. So I think there's kind of an hour breakaway group out the front. So Mercedes are really far ahead. Then you've kind of got the good squabble between Red Bull, Ferrari, Force India, Williams, and then you look at the rest of the field, and it's kind of really, they're really far down. You've got Lotus, McLaren, Toro Rosso, Sauber, Caterham, Marussia all squabbling for that final points position probably. But overall, it was pretty boring. I'd probably give it 4 out of 10, and my driver of the day is Fernando Alonso. So it'll be really interesting in hearing your guys' driver of the day, and also you give the race a mark out of 10 in terms of excitement. We'll finish off this then with taking you through the drivers and then the teams, constructors, and the drivers and constructors championships. We'll start off with the drivers then, go through this quickly. The order then is Rosberg's 4 points ahead of Hamilton, and Rosberg's on 79, Hamilton's on 75, Alonso's on 41, Hülkenberg in 4th is on 36, 3 points behind him is Vettel in 5th with 33, then it's Ricciardo with 24, also on 24 is Bottas in 7th, then it's the McLaren pairing of Button and Magnussen with 23 and 20. In 10th is Perez with 18 points, in 11th is Massa, 12th Raikkonen, 13 Vernon Kvyat, they're on the same points and they've got 4 points each. So 14 cars then, 14 drivers have finished in the points so far this season. When you got Grosjean, Sutil, Gutierrez, Chilton, Kobayashi, Maldonado, Bianchi, and now Ericsson is at the bottom of the tables. They're all yet to score, and hopefully they'll get off the mark as quickly as possible. Quickly take you through the teams. Mercedes have got nearly triple Red Bull's points. They've got 154. Red Bull have got 57, and Force India doing an absolute brilliant job with 54 points in 3rd. Then it's Ferrari with 52. 5th is McLaren, who had a really poor weekend in China. They're on 43 points. Then it's 6th in Williams, which are very disappointing considering their early season pace, with 36 points. And then it's Toro Rosso with 8 points. And then you've got Lotus, Sauber, Marussia, and Caterham yet to get off the mark. So like I said before, I'm interested in hearing your driver of the day, and also give the race a mark out of 10. But Sammy's been racing then, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.